Hey, it's time for TV Skywriter.
Greetings, everybody. Welcome to TV Skywriter, emanating from Durham, North Carolina. I'm Patricia A. Murray, and sitting next to me is Michael Scott. He's from the Durham County Department of Public Health. Welcome to the show, Michael.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Happy to have you on. Now, I did an article, well, actually, we worked together, putting together an article in this month's Durham Skywriter. That's Durham's online community paper, which you can read at durhamskywriter.com, talking about the dangers of smoking.
Yes.
And what's really interesting now, people who are older, I don't know how old you are, but I'm 59.
Older than I look.
But okay. But there was a big fuss years ago when they started putting the warning labels on cigarette packs.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm guessing, tell me if I think I'm right in assuming the young people starting smoking nowadays aren't even aware that those warnings, because nobody's making a fuss about them.
Right.
So
right.
they probably just get the cigarette pack, grab the cigarette, they don't even look at the warning.
Probably not. I mean, the warning labels are so commonplace now that you're probably correct in saying that a lot of young folks don't really realize that there's a warning on the cigarettes. I mean, it's such common knowledge now that cigarettes are bad for you. And we are seeing a decrease in the numbers of people that are smoking. So that's a good sign.
Talk a little bit louder.
Okay, I'm sorry. So we are seeing a decrease in the numbers of people that are smoking. Not as much of a decrease as we would like. And is it because of the warning labels, or who knows? Okay. But we do know that we are seeing a decrease. And the warning labels, they are there. They've been there. And like you said, people are probably used to the warning labels by now, and they really don't pay that much attention to them.
Now, I also remember when in the old TV shows, they're smoking and drinking and carrying on.
Oh, yeah.
So now on TV, I haven't really paid that much attention. I don't know if the characters are smoking on cable TV, because I tend not to watch the most popular shows.
Right.
So are they smoking on cable?
They are still smoking on cable shows.
Okay.
I think that on broadcast TV, regular TV, you don't see it so much. Definitely don't see the advertisements anymore.
Oh, definitely.
That's a thing of the past. But I think a little bit later we're going to talk about the e-cigarettes, and that's a whole new monster. And actually, it's not, because what it's doing is they're taking the old way of the regular cigarettes, how it was advertised, how it was portrayed. Now they're doing the same thing with the e-cigarettes. But we'll talk about that.
We definitely will. Now, the dangers. I want to talk about the dangers of cigarette smoking because, again, the reason why I was asking about whether the characters are smoking on cable is because back in the day when there was cigarette advertising, they were depicting, you're going to have fun, you're going to be attractive, you're going to be popular if you smoke and drink or whatever. So obviously, if they're smoking on cable, then the young kids are able to see that smoking is something that people do. I assume they're smoking in movies, I guess. I mean, I don't even go to movies. I'm assuming they're smoking in movies, I guess.
I've seen movies recently where they are smoking, and definitely cable TV shows. I'm not going to name the show that I watched, but they were almost every scene someone was smoking a cigarette.
That's so dumb.
Yeah.
But then they don't want to be dictated to. And part of the, I guess, the advantage of being on cable is that they're edgier, or for want of a better word, I guess. So I was just mentioning that because if young people don't see folks smoking, they'll probably wouldn't occur to them to smoke.
Probably.
But since, if it's just as common to see people on cable TV smoking, then I guess kids wouldn't see anything wrong with it, because there are no anti-smoking commercials, as far as I know.
Well, no,
I've seen anti-drug commercials.
There are some really cool anti-smoking commercials now that are really aimed at younger kids.
Okay.
I'm not. Well, you said you're not familiar with it, but there's a really popular one now. Swipe left. And what it's doing is it's taking advantage of social media.
Okay.
And a big thing on social media is with pictures. People are looking at pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And if you like the picture, you swipe right. If
Okay.
you don't like the picture, you swipe left.
Okay.
So with that campaign, you know, if there's a picture with someone smoking, you know, you're supposed to swipe left.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well, that's good. Okay, I wasn't aware of that. Okay.
There's not as much anti-smoking commercials and advertisements as we would like, but they are out there. They are out there, and they're definitely really big. There's a big social media push for anti-smoking.
So let's talk about the dangers of smoking. Now, some of us might have forgotten why cigarette smoking is so dangerous. I mean, I've never smoked, so I never really thought about it.
Right.
And so it wasn't working with people like you and writing articles, and I start to think about it, because when you don't indulge, then you don't have children, you don't worry about it.
Yeah. And that's actually, I mean, it's a good thing that you don't smoke. But the bad thing is that, you know, people that do smoke, you're still exposed to secondhand smoke, and that can be just as dangerous as if.
I heard you can get lung cancer. And I grew up in a both my parents smoked, and I grew up around smoke, and I hated it. I always had breathing problems, and I've heard of people getting lung cancer. That it's possible to get lung cancer.
It's possible
if you don't smoke.
It is possible to get lung cancer if you're a non-smoker. That is true.
Now, I'm going to talk about the dangers of smoking. So we know about the presence of nicotine,
right?
And the smoking where you're burning the tobacco. Okay, so you're trying to get to the nicotine, but the burning of the tobacco leaves and bring in through your inhalation these toxins.
Carcinogen, toxins, exactly.
So the real danger of cigarette is not the nicotine, even though the nicotine is poison.
Correct.
But it's the extras that you get. The burning of the leaves,
the actual
carcinogens.
The actual burning of the tobacco leaf is what causes the chemical reactions and turn the tobacco leaf into the toxins, the carcinogens, the thousands of different chemicals that you're ingesting into your body are released as a result of the combustion, the burning of the leaf. And like you were saying, what keeps people addicted is actual nicotine. Okay, now the nicotine, is it added to the leaf or is it in the leaf already? Nicotine is in the leaf.
So that's what you're trying to get at.
Right. Nicotine is a product of tobacco. Okay.
So that's what you're trying to get at when you're smoking. Okay. So these e-cigarettes come along.
Right.
And tell us what, and talk a little bit louder. Tell us what cigarettes are. Some of us haven't even seen them yet.
Okay. So basically what an e-cigarette is, it's an electronic nicotine delivery system. So you may hear it called ENDS, ENDS.
Okay.
Electronic nicotine delivery system.
Okay.
And the older models, so to speak, were shaped like cigarettes, looked like cigarettes, and you still have some of those. But you also have the newer modifications, mods are what they're called.
What do they look like?
They can look like anything. People create them out of little candy boxes. They create them out of just metal pipes. And
you mean everyday people can make it, or you mean the companies are making them?
Companies are making them like that too, but people can make them as well. You can go online and buy kits to make your own modification, your own electronic cigarette, your own. You can mix up your own concoction of nicotine juice with whatever flavors you want.
Now that can hook the kids.
Oh yeah, especially
because I will bet you that somebody's putting bubblegum flavor or something.
Oh yeah. There's I mean there's I think at last count there was over 7,000 different flavors.
Wow. So
you name a flavor, they've got it.
The pina colada and all
pina colada, bubblegum, cherry, watermelon, coffee.
So how come you See, I didn't. Okay, so you can order them online now.
You order them online.
So what's going to keep a kid from? When I say kid, I mean it could be a 14-year-old borrowing his credit card from someone and ordering online.
You have to be 18 and over to purchase these products legally.
Legally, okay.
But there's been studies where, they've taken young kids, 14, 15,
Mm-hmm.
put them online to see how well these companies are policing themselves.
They probably just say here if you're over.
Exactly.
18.
So what do the kids do? Click,
Mm-hmm.
I'm over 18. I have a debit card, whether it's their debit card, their parents' debit card. All they do is click that yes button. And
do you think there's a way, since I don't know about all, but many computers have cams, video cams, do you think they would eventually say, we want to see your actual face? Of course, you still can't determine whether a person's 17, 18, 19
right
by looking at them.
And then,
but it's better than see. I mean, you don't want to see like a little 8-year-old face in front of you.
Right.
Cigarettes.
But I think the way it works is that it's an automated system, so there's no one really on the other end.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So
okay.
They just put their information in, and it works its way through the system. There's no interface with.
I'm still thinking old school customer service. Real people. What am I thinking? So, do you think that one reason why they are having so many different 7,000 flavors, because do you think they really do want to hook kids, or do you think they're just catering to the whims of adults? Do you think there's some insidious, dark motive in there to hook up the children?
What I would like to think that they're catering to adults. However, when you look at the flavors that are available, like bubblegum, blue raspberry, and the names of them are flavors and names that are going to resonate more with kids, with younger people than with adults.
Okay.
And
well, answer me this. I hate to butt in, but when you buy fragrances from people, how they say how they'll name the fragrance after like opium, for example, which is or joy,
right,
or other I can't think of any other fragrances, but whatever the popular fragrances are, do they do that to hook the kids? Like, do they have like Mike and Ike, and I can't think of any other candies, Charlie Chan,
they definitely
Bubblicious.
They definitely have their named after candies.
I figured that.
When you think about that, I mean, who's that going to be? Who's going to be attracted to that? Kids. And the demographic now, where tobacco companies are losing their most customers. I mean, young kids, the rate of smoking among young kids is steadily decreasing. So in turn, the tobacco companies are losing those future customers, because
that's good.
Exactly, it's good for us. It's good for public health, but for the tobacco companies, it's not good, because they're like, oh, well, now we've
lost our young generation.
Yes, exactly.
Good. I want everybody to stop smoking. But the thing is, with the e-cigarettes, okay, so suppose you come across a 15-year-old smoking an e-cigarette, and you ask him why, and he'd probably say, oh, well, it's not dangerous because I'm not burning tobacco leaves. So what is the danger in cigarettes?
Well, a big misconception is that it's water vapor and it's harmless. Okay. The danger in it is, one, it's still nicotine. So you're still feeding that nicotine addiction.
But the carcinogens aren't there, are they? Because you're not burning the leaves.
Right. The carcinogens aren't there at the same level as a regular cigarette. Okay. There are some.
Okay. Can you get cancer? But are they so new that have they made the studies yet?
Right. They're so new that the long-term effects aren't known yet. Can you get cancer from smoking an e-cigarette or from vaping?
That's the new word. Vaping.
Yeah, vaping is the new word. And there's just not enough research right now to say what the long effects are. There is research that says, okay, these e-cigarettes, if you're vaping, they can cause respiratory distress. If you have, other respiratory issues, smoking an e-cigarette can cause some distress. Okay.
But the nicotine in itself, is it dangerous in the e-cigarettes?
The nicotine, like I said, it's the addictive property and it's a poison. So so you can ingest too much nicotine and have nicotine poisoning.
Oh, what does that result in? Like a heart attack? Yeah.
it could result in death. It can
Oh.
result in headache, nausea.
Mm-hmm.
The calls to poison control due to nicotine poisoning
Mm-hmm.
have like more than doubled
Oh,
since the
wow,
onset of
really?
the age of the e-cigarette, because the
Huh.
juice itself or the nicotine liquid comes
Mm-hmm.
in a little bottle, a little vial.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So
it's
you
not
so you control how much nicotine goes into your e-cigarette when you're mixing your little
when you're mixing
concoction?
your own. Supposedly,
Mm-hmm.
you are controlling how much nicotine you're getting. But
Wow.
if you look at
So you
the
can add too
ingredients,
much.
yes, you can add too much. You really don't know how much because there's no regulation right now.
Oh my goodness.
So you buy the nicotine juice, and
Mm-hmm.
there's no ingredient list.
Mm-hmm.
It may say this contains 1.2 grams of nicotine, but then in studies
Mm-hmm.
where they've taken the nicotine, the liquid nicotine,
Sure.
to measure how much nicotine is in there,
Mm-hmm.
it could be less, it could be more.
Mm-hmm.
So you really don't know how much nicotine you're getting.
Okay. Is it as irritating to, of course, that's a subjective word,
Yeah, yeah.
but if you're around someone who's vaping or
Mm-hmm.
smoking these e-cigarettes, would it be distress? Like I get distressed around cigarettes because I have breathing problems anyway, and the
Mm-hmm.
smoke really bothers me. Would I also feel
Quite,
distressed around an e-cigarette smoker?
quite possibly.
Because
Like
they're not exhaling smoke.
no,
Right?
they're exhaling vapor, but it's actually more of a. There are microscopic particulate matter,
Mm-hmm.
so it's not just a vapor that will just dissipate and
Yeah.
there's just nothing remaining.
Uh-huh.
There's microscopic particles.
So it would still irritate my throat if I'm susceptible to that.
Yes, you can.
Oh.
Definitely.
But you can't tell people to take it outside because they're okay inside, aren't they?
It depends on the venue.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
in most places, the owner and the management, they have the discretion. Like bars and let's specifically talk about bars and restaurants.
All right, all right.
We know that there's no smoking in bars and restaurants in North Carolina anymore.
Right.
So you can't smoke a regular or combustible cigarette.
Okay.
It's up to the owner and management
Mhm.
whether or not an e-cigarette or a vaping device is allowed. For the most part, if there's no smoking,
Mhm.
folks don't want you to use the e-cigarette either
Okay.
because it kind of
We just make everybody jealous. That's
and it confuses people. Like, is that smoke? What are they doing here?
Mhm.
So it's really up to the establishment.
Mhm.
And a lot of places that are smoke free are also putting language into their
Mhm.
policy that says no smoking and no vaping,
Okay.
no use of electronic smoking devices.
Mhm. These e-cigarettes or these vaping cigarettes, are they related at all to these? I was on 9th Street, and there's this place that had these strange. It's called hookah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that is, but they were smoke. Do you know what that is?
Well, a
Hookah.
hookah is basically it's a water pipe.
Okay,
So,
the same concept, right? It's
well,
vapor smoking.
no, with a hookah, you're still smoking tobacco. However,
Oh.
you're smoking through a water pipe. So you use charcoal to heat up the tobacco,
Mm-hmm.
inhale it, it goes into the pipe, into the water, which
Mhm.
cools the smoke,
Okay.
which you then. So now you're inhaling, and it's flavored. So now
Okay.
you're inhaling a cool, flavorful smoke.
Is it dangerous?
It's dangerous.
Wow.
I would say more dangerous than regular cigarettes
Really?
because what happens is it's really a social thing.
All right.
So you're around a table with your friends
Mm-hmm.
and you're all passing the hookah around there to each other.
You put it in your mouth where someone else.
Yeah.
That's dangerous right there.
Mm-hmm. Now there are disposable mouthpieces that you can
Okay.
interchange, but for the most part, people are just sharing the pipe. And because cool smoke, because it's flavored smoke, because it smells good,
Mm-hmm.
you're inhaling more smoke. You're inhaling it deeper
Oh,
into your
wow.
lungs.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a little. It's.
Are those places legal? Because I've seen. I don't know if that place is still there on 9th Street. I haven't really noticed, whether it's still there.
Now, as far as the legality of it,
Mm-hmm.
there's no smoking in bars and restaurants.
All right.
So that's no smoking cigars, cigarettes. A hookah is a smoking device. So
Okay. Because I've heard of the term
hookah
hookah bar.
Now, there's in North Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
there's no smoking in bars and restaurants.
Period.
So a hookah bar, technically, and they have some special consideration, and they've gone through the process of getting an exemption.
Okay.
You can't smoke indoors in a restaurant or a bar.
Okay.
Cigar bars are an exception. And then in order to be a cigar bar,
Well, I know those. I can't imagine what it smells like in there. Cigars are so.
in order to be a cigar bar, you have to get a certain percentage of your income strictly from the sale of cigars.
Okay.
It's not. You can't just slap a sign and say we're a cigar bar. There's a process you have to go through.
Okay.
Through the health department to get certified. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So to address all of this and to get us off of this habit of smoking tobacco in all kind of different, in all its different forms, and getting in our search, I guess, for the nicotine fix, so to speak. The Department of Public Health here in Durham County has smoking cessation classes.
Yes, we do. And
when's it start, next week?
We have a class that starts next week, June 2nd.
Okay.
And it's a three series session. And the program itself is called Quit Smart. And it's a program that was developed by a doctor here at Duke, Dr. Robert Shipley, created the program some years ago. It's proven to be very effective for people that want to quit smoking. And it utilizes a few different techniques. It uses like a progressive relaxation technique, medical management.
Okay, let's address the relaxation thing. Now, my mom was amazingly, she was a teacher and didn't smoke all day. And she was fine. But as soon as she got home, oh boy, she said that smoking took away her nervousness. So I guess that's where the relaxation comes in. I suppose a lot of people smoke because they feel anxious or nervous about something.
Nervous, stress.
I hope my mom wasn't nervous about being home. But she just said that when she wasn't playing the piano, she needed something to do with her hands. And it took the nervousness away of the inaction, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
So what kind of relaxation? Are you talking about, like meditation or something?
Very similar to meditation. The program itself comes with a relaxation CD. So it's a CD, pop in, listen to it, and it just helps you move through that craving. Because they say that, a craving lasts 3 to 5 minutes. When you get through that 3 to 5 minutes, the craving, the need for that cigarette will pass.
So what does a smoker say? How would a smoker describe his craving? Is it the same as when I really want some Milk Duds? When I see Milk Duds at the dollar store or whatever, and I'm like, oh, I gotta have it. Is it like, or it's a sudden, it's not a physical, I think.
It's
a physical? Oh, okay.
And for some folks, emotional craving. I mean, it's literally it's a drug.
How's it emotional?
Because people who have smoked for years and years become dependent, not only physically, but like you were saying with your mother, she became dependent on, at the end of the day, I can't wait to get home and smoke that cigarette. And it becomes,
I think it was like relaxing. It was her way of kind of getting rid of the day's anxiety.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how people that smoke.
Kids will do that to you if you're a teacher.
And with, like you were saying, when she said when she wasn't playing the piano, she needed something to do because she was so used to
doing something.
And part of the Quit Smart program, it actually comes with a imitation cigarette, a fake cigarette, to give people, to satisfy that need to have something in their hand, to have that hand to mouth action, and you can adjust it so you can still draw on the fake cigarette.
Okay, what are you drawing in?
Just air.
Oh, that's why people gain weight, because they still have that motion.
Exactly.
Because my dad, when he quit smoking for a while, it popped. And yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it fills that void, and it's just another part of the Quit Smart program to help people, get over that addiction and the behaviors that they become accustomed to over years and years of smoking.
Now, I remember years and years ago, I had a coworker who wanted to quit smoking, but he had to quit drinking too.
Oh yeah,
because the smoking and the drinking went together in such a way that he couldn't do one without the other.
Right.
So he had to quit cold turkey, both, because his doctor told him, or else, So he quit smoking and drinking at the same time.
And I'm sure that was very difficult.
It was. He drank lots and lots of coffee.
Yeah, and some people have to quit drinking coffee because there's a correlation between their coffee drinking, their caffeine intake, and their smoking.
Yeah.
So
well, I guess that could be a problem too. I guess you drink too much. Yeah. So with the relaxation, so you say if you can get over that 5 minute craving,
that 3 to 5 minute craving,
so how long
will pass?
So would a smoker be able to describe how often this occurs throughout the day? The 3 to 5 minute craving.
Well, I'm sure for each individual, because you have some folks that smoke a half a pack a day. You have some people that smoke 2 packs a day. So their level of addiction is going to be different. Their need for nicotine is going to be different.
And some people, like I said, like my mom or whatever, they can go all day without smoking. So it's obvious. I mean, if you simply can't smoke, you're not going to smoke. You're not going to lose your job.
Right.
So you have to smoke. And I do notice people, I don't know if they still do it so much nowadays, but I do remember when smoking in Illinois, from Chicago, when it was first banned, people would stand in sub-zero weather during break.
Oh, yeah. They still do
and they'd huddle together and smoke by the entrances.
And
that's
still do that. Yeah, it's very sad.
Actually sad. Because it was like, wow, it here is 20 below zero, and you're out there shivering, smoking a cigarette.
Yeah. And that just speaks to the how powerful the addiction to nicotine can be. Because it's something that's been available, it's available in the stores. A lot of folks don't realize the addictiveness of nicotine. It's been said that the addictive properties of nicotine can be just as strong as the addictive properties of cocaine and heroin.
Wow. I want to talk about the class some more.
Okay.
But before we do, I wanted to ask you, because you've had the class before, and so I'd like to know what a successful person has gotten out of smoking cessation. I know for one thing, they've saved a lot of money.
Yes, they saved a lot of money. They saved their life, increased their lifespan.
Because they say, I saw a picture of lungs, and they say lungs can. They say even if you're my age and you quit smoking, you actually can clear up your lungs from black back to pink.
Now it'll take some years, but your body does repair itself. So once you stop smoking, your body, even in between cigarettes, your body begins to repair itself. You may see smokers that have that really bad smoker's cough. That's the body, trying to get rid of those toxins. So you're coughing up that phlegm. Your body's repairing itself, healing itself, getting rid of the toxins. And after so many years, your the percentage or the likelihood of certain cancers is going to decrease to that of a non-smoker once again. So a lot of people say, I've been smoking all my life. It's why quit now? It's never too late to quit.
Definitely. My mom quit right for what it was worth. But in fact, if both my parents didn't smoke, I'm sure I would guess that they might still be here. Because my mom had a heart defect, but smoking helped.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
And she did have a heart attack while I was in college.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next one killed her.
Mm-hmm.
But she had decades in between where she could have become healthier had smoked.
Right.
I believe.
Right.
Dad's case, he's been since I'm sure he was a teenager from South Side of Chicago, tough guy. And he developed what do you call emphysema late in life, and he had to carry the oxygen tank and all of that. I'm guessing he might have lived longer had he not, had he not smoked. I mean, something else might have killed him, but I mean, you never know.
And then with cigarette smoking, whatever other health issue you have, the fact that you smoke cigarettes is definitely not helping.
Yeah.
And non-smokers definitely have a longer lifespan than smokers. Whether or not they die of a disease that's directly related to smoking, maybe they do, maybe they don't, but that smoking definitely doesn't help whatever condition they have.
Definitely.
Even with type 2 diabetes, we're seeing people that smokers are more likely to get type 2 diabetes now.
Really?
If you have type 2 diabetes, smoking, lowers your lifespan.
Oh, I didn't know it had any relationship with diabetes.
Yeah, and that's this research just in the last few years has come out.
Another benefit to quitting smoking, I do remember hearing that just the act of breathing improves. That some smokers didn't even realize that they had shortness of breath because they were used to it.
They're used to it.
And when they quit smoking, they realized they were breathing easier, deeper, and
breathing easier. Their food tastes better. Their sense of smell becomes better. And what happens is just after years and years of smoking, you're slowly losing, your taste, your sense of taste, your sense of smell. And then once you stop smoking, your body's like preparing itself. You start smelling and tasting all these things that you haven't tasted.
You didn't even know you were missing.
Right, you didn't even know you were missing.
And also, as far as being more attractive to your mate, my grandmother told me a story that she tried smoking years and years ago. She tried smoking, and her, I have to say her husband, because it was actually, I guess you'd call him my step grandfather, I guess. He said he'd just as soon lick an ashtray as kiss a woman who smokes. I was like, wow, that's pretty. So needless to say, she didn't smoke.
Yeah.
So that's pretty deep. So tell us more about the classes. So you do the relaxation thing, and how else do you deal with the? Do you teach? Are you teaching them or leading them into smoking cessation? Because they have to put the work in too, don't they?
Yes, they have to put the work in. So I guess I'm more of a leader or a facilitator, facilitating their process. One of the tenets of the program is you have to be ready to quit. So
what makes a person ready to quit?
I think it's different for the individual, but it could be their health, could be the health of their children,
or the kids complaining.
Could be that their workplace is smoke free, now they can't smoke anymore, so they're like, oh, I might as well quit. But different people have different
I think
reasons.
if you're huddled outside in 20 below weather smoking, you realize maybe it's time to quit.
Yeah.
That's just pitiful.
Yeah. So with the classes, it's 3 sessions, and each session we go through a different coping mechanism. So we may talk about medication. We may talk about the nicotine patch. We may talk about the relaxation.
Tell me about. I've heard of this patch. Excuse me. How does the patch work?
The patch works by giving the body a constant dose of nicotine. So you wear the patch on your shoulder or your back.
You want them to quit nicotine.
You want them to, ideally, yes, you want them to quit nicotine.
Yeah.
But the first step is quitting cigarettes.
Okay.
Quitting the
so you're trying to get
process.
to the nicotine, but you at least want them to not inhale all the carcinogen.
Right.
So you give it to them direct.
And
then you wean them off of that?
Yes. Now with the Quit Smart program, you mentioned the word cold turkey.
Yeah.
With the Quit Smart program, we call it warm chicken. So instead of just completely stopping, we help them wean themselves off of nicotine. So not everyone uses patches. You know, some people may use a nicotine inhaler, a lozenge, gum.
Lozenge. Nicotine lozenge.
Yes.
Can you get that at any store? It sounds kind of weird.
They're available pretty much, you know, at drugstores.
Not over the counter.
Over the counter.
Oh, okay.
Over the counter. Okay. We also use with Quit Smart nicotine reduction. So there's a whole process of going from one brand of cigarette to a lower.
You switch brands.
Switch brands to a brand that has a lower nicotine content.
Okay.
So that way you're not just shutting the body completely off of nicotine. You're weaning your body off of the nicotine.
Okay. Answer me this. Malt liquor is a big problem in certain communities. It's marketed to certain Black and brown communities, I noticed. The cost is lower than if you want to buy the hard stuff, whatever. But the alcohol content is sometimes 5 times as much, even though the cost is cheaper. So it's obviously like aimed at poor folks.
Right.
So when I go to these stores, whatever, and I notice in the overhead little compartment where they have the cigarettes, that they have these like nameless or labelless generic type cigarettes. I'm assuming those are aimed at poor folks too. So is it like with the alcohol where the nicotine and tobacco content is higher than you would expect?
I think it depends on the brand. You're gonna find a lot of menthol cigarettes promoted and for sale in the corner stores and the low income neighborhoods. And a lot of the menthol cigarettes definitely have a higher nicotine content. So very similar to the malt liquors. They have a slightly higher nicotine content, and they're advertised. It's aimed at the Black and brown community.
So that can be a problem. That's another problem. I just wanted people to be aware of that because sometimes in saving money, you're actually taking in a lot more of the dangerous, properties than you realize. And I'm sure a lot of people, Wanda Boone with Durham Try, very interesting program. She was pointing out on Facebook how these malt liquors contain 5 servings
of alcohol
in a 1 serving can. That was in Chicago. There was a big move against the malt liquors, and I think that's going to happen here in Durham, which is good. That's a bad thing. And hopefully people also rail against cigarettes, because even though a lot of us, I know they smoke, just us, just to be general, a lot of us have quit smoking, don't smoke, whatever. But the problem is the e-cigarettes are introducing a whole new generation of people who might not have thought of smoking before, maybe not.
Exactly.
And also it's grabbing people at an earlier age. Another thing is because people think that it's safer.
Right.
A lot of people who are smoking are probably switching to e-cigarettes, I'll bet, thinking that it's safer. And they're probably sucking in the nicotine deeper because they they're used to that draw, you know? So
you're absolutely right in saying that the e-cigarettes are introducing a whole generation who probably weren't going to be smokers, but now the e-cigarettes, just like cigarettes were back in the 50s and 60s, the cool thing to do, the adult thing to do.
The penny candy. I don't know if you remember penny candy.
Oh yeah.
Remember the cigarette? There are these white chalky cigarette candies with little red tips to simulate,
And they're the little bubble gum, the ones with the paper around it, you blew it and the powder would come out like if it was smoke.
I remember that one.
Oh yeah.
I do remember candy cigars. Also, oh my God, they're just introducing us to all sorts of things.
Yeah. So now the worry is, okay, now we've got younger kids that are being introduced to e-cigarettes, they're being introduced to a nicotine addiction.
And they don't think it's cool.
Now, will they also start smoking regular cigarettes? You know, now that
Wait
they
a
become
minute.
addicted to nicotine.
We have not talked about cost, because they say very often when it comes to cigarette smoking cessation, they say a lot of the people with money have quit. As you would expect, a lot of the poor folks, more tensions, more irritations in life or whatever.
More reasons, quote unquote.
Yeah, and very often it's us who are lower income who are imbibing more with the alcohol and the smoking, unfortunately, because we haven't found cheaper solutions. Or maybe just hasn't occurred to us, or maybe we're working 2 and 3 jobs and we really need to relax. And that's just the way to relax. But so when it comes to cost, is it cost effective to get into the e-cigarette? Because I can't imagine a 14-year-old being able to keep up the habit if he's low income. Even if he borrows someone's credit card once to get the little kit that you're talking about. Can they keep that up?
The thing with the e-cigarettes is there's usually an upfront cost that's rather significant, but then you can buy the refills. So in the long run, they say it's less expensive, but there's usually an upfront cost. And then when we talk about cessation services and being able to afford that, luckily here in Durham at the health department, we offer those services free of charge.
Awesome.
So this class that's coming up next week is free of charge.
Nice. So do you think that the e-cigarettes are aimed at a certain class or type or income? Because I haven't seen people at the I'm taking the bus now because the car's not working, and people do smoke. They're not supposed to, but they are smoking at the the bus terminal. I have yet to see e-cigarettes. Not that everybody takes the bus is poor, but I'm just saying. I have yet to see e-cigarettes where I would expect to see them at the bus stops or people hanging out, on the corner in the hood or whatnot. I have yet to see e-cigarettes.
And I think in mentioning that, I think that the population that is using e-cigarettes probably do have a little more expendable income. And at the little corner stores in the hood, you're not going to see a whole lot of e-cigarettes being for sale. At the gas stations, yes, but when we talk about the little corner stores, you're going to see chips, sodas, alcohol, and cigarettes. And then, like you were saying, at the bus station, shouldn't be smoking, but there is a lot of smoking. Technically, at the bus station, there is a smoking area.
There is.
But people smoke everywhere at the bus station, but they're not supposed to.
Well, since I have you here, you did surprise me by telling me there is a rule.
Yes.
I mean, we kind of, we know you can't smoke indoors, so we just kind of figured everywhere you can smoke anywhere outside. But that's not true.
That's not true here in Durham. Here in Durham, we have the Board of Health smoking rule, which went into effect 3 years ago, back in August of 2012. Which restricts outdoor smoking in certain places. Bus stops, the bus station, except for that specific area.
Where is that area?
To be honest, I'm not 100% sure. And I think that's the confusing part for folks is that they know, I can't smoke at the bus stop, but there is a spot at the bus station I can smoke.
I'm gonna look for it next time I'm there.
But parks, trails.
You cannot smoke in the parks.
No smoking in parks, playgrounds, trails. City grounds, county grounds.
And that includes, when you say city ground, that means you can't smoke at
Durham Stadium.
What about the parking lot?
Parking lot, no. No parking. You can't. If you're in your car with the windows rolled up, sure.
You're gonna die.
But under the rule, like for example, if you're at the health department You can't anywhere around the grounds of sidewalks surrounding the building or the park.
Okay.
Now, the car is rolled up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it gets tricky.
Does get tricky because on one hand, you kind of know people are going to smoke anyway, and does offering the availability of an ashtray condone smoking? Because
Yes.
I hate to see cigarette butts on the ground.
Yeah.
But
And having an ashtray available, kind of, even if it says, even if there's no smoking signs,
yeah,
for a smoker, seeing an ashtray is kind of like, okay, I can
smoke
smoke here
here.
because there's a receptacle for it. When I'm done with my cigarette, I can put my cigarette in this ashtray.
Okay.
That's why you'll see a lot of it. Like they took all the ashtrays away from the bus stops.
Yeah, and so they're all over the ground now.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Okay. There's no way around that, I guess, right now at least. But tell us more about the class.
So the class starts Tuesday the 2nd.
It's free.
5:30. It's free. It runs Tuesday, June 2nd, Tuesday, June 16th, and Thursday, June 18th, from 5 to 7. It's free at the health department. It's free.
Now, do you have to attend all three?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's. I suggest you attend all three. And the success rate is dependent on, being consistent in your attendance.
Okay. Because you said you cover different aspects of smoking cessation with each session. So you start out with the relaxation.
No, you start out with just an overall understanding of, okay, why do you smoke? And what is it?
What's the trigger?
Right. What are your triggers? How do we address those triggers? And then you have to come in wanting to quit. Yeah. So that's the biggest step is wanting to quit.
Okay.
Not I think I'm gonna quit. You really wanna.
No, you have to really want it.
Yeah, really wanna quit. To register, contact me 560-7895.
You can give that number again. Actually, I will put it in the description of the show.
Okay,
so,
excellent.
When you watch this video, then you'll be able to do that.
And you can put my email in there as well.
I will do that as well. Okay. So, have you ever smoked?
I am a former smoker.
Okay, so you know.
And so I do know what it's like. I actually quit with the help of Quit Smart.
Oh.
So I'm living proof that the program actually works.
So you never have a craving for cigarettes? Is it kind of like former alcoholics say that I am a recovering alcoholic? They never say that they have totally vanquished it. So what attitude do you as a non-smoker or a former smoker have?
As a former smoker, my attitude now is I can't believe I actually used to smoke cigarettes. I mean, now the sight and the smell really
ugly, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just like, oh man, I can't believe that was once me. I was once one of those people that was out there
in
20-degree weather, huddled up, my glove on, and like you were asking, well, what makes people finally want to quit? And what finally made me quit was having children, and knowing that secondhand smoke is just as dangerous, or can be just as dangerous as if you were smoking. Having children really made me realize, it's time to put them down.
And I enjoy seeing you guys on Facebook.
Yes.
And your new how old is your little one?
4 months.
Yeah, I can see why you quit, because your little kid is so adorable. Oh my God.
And it's funny because oftentimes my oldest will come with me to the different classes I'm teaching. So I've kind of got to keep him on the reins, because we'll be out somewhere and somebody will be smoking and he's got no filter. So, hey, smoking's not good for you.
Oh, that's great. But I'll bet somebody will take that to heart.
Yeah.
To have a little kid tell them that, because they know. I think all of us adults know it's not good for you. And it can be embarrassing for a little, how old is your oldest?
6.
A little 6-year-old telling you that it's not good for you. That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
That he knows more than you, right? So this 3 class series starting next Tuesday, this coming Tuesday.
Correct.
So that ends on June, I'm looking at your notes, June 18th. So that's for the summer. Are you going to have another session for the fall? Or do you have to wait to look at the numbers?
No, we'll definitely have another one in the fall. Not sure when, but I definitely like to have them around the tobacco recognition days. So this month is actually World No Tobacco Day on Sunday.
Okay,
so this class kind of coincides with World No Tobacco Day.
Okay.
The next, I don't want to say holiday, but they have different days throughout the year where smoking is addressed. A couple months ago was Kick Butts Day.
I remember that.
We've got World No Tobacco Day right now. In November is
you can come back and we'll announce that. Actually, I would like you to come back because this is really, really important, and it's really close to my heart again because both my parents smoke, and it's a terrible, stinky habit.
Definitely.
It's a time waster. It's a money waster. Again, you don't taste your food the way it should, be tasted. It's smelly.
Like you were
it's
saying.
a real deterrent to going out to. Of course, you can't smoke inside anymore. But back when I was young, that was a real deterrent for me. I didn't like going to jazz. I love jazz, but going to jazz clubs was such a. You come home and your hair and your clothes are just horrible, And of course, now you can't smoke indoors. That's not a problem. But that was a real deterrent for me going out and having a good time. Just knowing you going to any theater, any club, you just come back smelling so horrible. It just wasn't worth it to me because I just hated that smell.
And then there's the environmental consequences because a lot of people just flip their cigarette butts and thinking that, this is biodegradable. It's not biodegradable. It takes years for those cigarette butts to finally degrade.
Wow.
And then not to mention, it's getting into the water system. There's still chemicals that are going to leach out. Wildlife can get a hold of it.
And kids can, because I do remember as a little kid seeing kids pick up cigarettes from the sidewalk with adults that just, as you said, flicked away and tried to smoke them. Now that's terrible. But back then, in the early mid-60s, cigarettes were everywhere.
Oh yeah, I remember.
As far as the commercials,
my parents were giving me money to run to the store and buy them cigarettes.
Actually, my mom. This is so embarrassing. My mom used to write a note so that I could run over to Mickey's, the little store up the street, up 83rd Street, and with the note saying that it was okay for me to. And back then, a carton of cigarettes, I remember, was $3.10 for a carton cigarette, and she was smoking Lucky Strike. With my mom being from Durham, and her grandfather worked at Lucky Strike in American Tobacco, she felt it was her duty to uphold the Durham tradition and smoke the worst cigarettes on earth. I shouldn't say the worst because I heard that the French Gaulois cigarettes are very harsh. But Lucky Strike, as far as American cigarettes, is probably the hardest. No, and she would hit it on the table because it didn't have a filter. I can't remember what she was doing, but she said because it didn't have a filter, she'd whack it on the table. I think to move the tobacco back. So I don't know. Anyway, I shouldn't even remember stuff like that. It's so stupid. But yeah, the more people that quit smoking, the better.
Definitely.
And actually, for those of you, I don't want to point my finger at anyone, but my mom had this tough girl attitude when we would try to get her to stop smoking. She would say what a lot of people say, we got to die from something. I know you've heard that, right?
I have. People
who don't want to quit smoking, that's what they say. You got to die from something. I just want to tell you guys, my mom had that attitude, but right before she died, the last look she gave me, even though she always talked all tough about dying, when it was time for her to die, The last look she gave, it was hard for me to shake this. The last look she gave me was fear. I never saw that in my mom's eyes before, but once it was time to go, she realized, all that tough talk, it didn't mean anything at the very end. So I just want to tell you, don't forget about all that false bravado. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So I hope you sign up. Give us the phone number again, even though I will put it in the description.
Okay. Phone number is 919-560-7895.
And this is Michael Scott. What is your job title at the Durham County Department of Public Health?
Health Education Specialist.
Health Education Specialist. Do you go around and talk to different groups about?
Yes. If you're a community group, a church, any type of organization that just wants more information about tobacco use, quitting cigarette smoking, I'm glad to come out and do a presentation. Glad to come out and bring a cessation class to your site. We don't have to.
That's right.
You don't have to come to the health department. I can come out to your site and do the class as well. So if you have questions about that, feel free to contact me. Cessation classes, information sessions, you name it, I got you.
Nice. Thank you so much, Michael, for being on the show. And love to your family as well.
Thank you.
Absolutely. That. And if you'd like to be on TV Skywriter, just write to me, Durham Skywriter @gmail.com. I'll give out my phone number, 919-809-9682. Now, for this local edition of TV Skywriter, I do like to talk with people with information that we can all share and benefit from. So be sure to write to me or call me, get on the show. It's my job, and this is what I do. I try to share information with those of us who really need it. Also, you can read the Durham Skywriter and the column that we work together on. Durham Skywriter, it's on the health page, which is called To Your Health. So you can find it at durhamskywriter.com. With that, have a great day. Bid you adieu. See you later. Thanks again.